Ladies and gents, welcome back to another video. In front of me here are 4 small packages, and inside of them all are iPod Touch 4th generations. Now, I have reason to believe that these are running iOS 4, maybe iOS 5, but if we're really lucky, we're going to get 4 iPod Touch 4th generations all running iOS 4. That's a lot of 4s, so let's get these opened up, see what kind of condition they're in, and hopefully we have ourselves a bunch of 4s. Let's begin. All right, here's our first iPod. We'll set that right there and move on to our next one. And this one is actually already booting up, so we'll put that right here and see what happens once that thing turns on. Here's our third 4th gen. We'll set that one right here and open up our last package. And finally is our 4th iPod Touch 4th gen. This one actually comes in a little rubber case. Now, before we do anything else, I'm going to give these a little bit of a clean because they look pretty dirty. All right, let's take a look at our iPods. They are all 4 black, and that gives me hope that they're all running iOS 4. So first we've got a 32 gig there, and we've got an 8 gigabyte model there. And then these two, we've got another 8 gig model and another 32 gigabyte. So let's see if these all have power or if we're gonna need to charge them. This one's got power, this one's completely dead. This one here does have power, and this one also has power. So this one has a connect to iTunes. Interesting. So this one needs to charge for sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug that in. Once this gets a little battery, we'll be back. All right, so we've got 2 now that are saying connect to iTunes, but lucky for us, got ourselves a little MacBook here with iTunes. So we'll set this one right there, and we'll use this cable we just got. So I've actually got decent hope for this because it's got connect to iTunes, but it's showing the battery percentage. I think that indicates iOS 4. Go ahead and open. I think it's going to be Finder here. And this should activate our iPod Touch. Let's see if it does. This is the 32 gig model, and this is actually taking quite some time. And there we go, our iPod is activated. We'll set that right here, and we'll check out our other iTunes iPod. I think it was this one. Yes, it was. Let's see what happens. Oh, this one is not happy. But I do have an idea. We might be able to save the blobs, but I can't do that on this computer. So we're gonna have to come back to this one in just a minute. And then this one, yeah, this one's good to go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let these charge, and I'm going to get my other computer that has Legacy iOS kit so we can fiddle around with this one, see if we can figure it out. All right, here we go. Let's connect that iPod to this MacBook. And now we're going to open Legacy iOS kit. Now this should tell us the iOS version, and it is not. So let's see if we can figure out how to do that. So we're going to enter DFU mode here, and then this program should be able to tell us what version we have. And that's going to help decide if we want to save blobs or if we just want to restore this iPod. So you can see here the iPod is scrolling a bunch of text. Now we've got the restore screen. We'll see what happens here. All right, so this is showing 5.1.1. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save blobs and then restore. Once we do that, we'll pick back up. All right, we've got our iPods all ready to go. And some of them I already know what version they're on, but some of them are still a surprise. So we're just going to go down the line here, left to right, starting with this one. This is an 8 GB model. And this is, I can't actually tell. 4.3.5. So this is an iOS 4 iPod Touch. Interestingly, we do have a few games. Well, we have 2 games, Cut the Rope and Subway Surfer. Then we have Instagram as the application there. Let's see if this game will load. While that does, let's check out this one. And this looks like iOS 5. No, yeah, iOS 5 because we got the YouTube icon. So this is going to be 5.1.1. This has a bunch of stuff on it. Let's see if we have any interesting applications. And we do have some old apps there. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Got some interesting things. Let's see if Zombie Life will load. Never played this game before. Subway Surfers is still working over here. I think that iPod's going to die. Here is... These things all had max volume. I'm not sure what's going on with that. There's Subway Surfer. Here is the zombie game. Never played that before. So far, iOS 4, iOS 5. Let's see about this one. This looks like... I'm not sure. This might be iOS... Oh, it is iOS 4 because we've got the squared off toggle switch. This is iOS, another 4.3.5. Again, this does have... But this does not show applications. Maybe because it doesn't have any. I thought they always showed numbers of apps, but I guess not. If you have 0 applications, you don't see applications inside of the About screen. That is interesting. All right, and last, potentially least, potentially not, we've got, I think this is iOS 4. Let's find out. 4.3.2, and this one has nothing on it, but that's a pretty cool version of iOS. So we went 3 for 4. 3 of these are running iOS 4, and our lone wolf here is running iOS 5, but it's got some games and apps on it, so that makes up for it. So just a little history on the 4th gen iPod Touch. This was launched in 2010 alongside the iPhone 4. It introduced our beautiful Retina display here. Looks phenomenal. It's a 3.5-inch display inside of this aluminum and glass housing. It launched in 8 gigabytes, 32 gigabytes, and 64 gigabyte configurations, starting at $229, working your way up to $400 for that 64 gig model. iOS 4 was also introduced here, and that brought many features, including home screen wallpaper. So up until iOS 4, you could not change your wallpaper on the home screen. It was just black. Starting on iOS 4, the devices with 256 megabytes of RAM and higher could have a home screen wallpaper. Also, multitasking was introduced in iOS 4, the ability to keep applications suspended in the background. That was new, and some other things included Game Center. Allowed you to challenge your friends and see your high scores on different applications. And I almost dropped it. Good thing I didn't. But the 4th gen iPod Touch was pretty special. It was a lot of people's first device from Apple, and it really opened the door for innovation in terms of the iPod and the iPhone. iOS 4 did not have iCloud, and it did not have iMessage, so you were limited to just downloading music, playing games, videos, Safari, and email. iOS 5, which came out 1 year later, would add messaging as well as iCloud, which improved the feature set of these devices greatly and helped them transform the world of media consumption and sharing. So there you have it. That's been a look at 4 iPods. 3 of them are running iOS 4 and 1 is running iOS 5. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in seeing more content like this, consider checking out some of my other videos where I do a bunch of unboxings of old Apple stuff, mostly things with rare versions of iOS, but also just some reviews here and there sprinkled in. All right, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I look forward to seeing you in another one of my videos.